So let me ask you, do you think we need to introduce everyone? Charlotte, why don't you introduce yourself, first of all, since you're new, and just tell everyone who you are and where you're from and what you practice so that everyone gets to know you.
Yeah. So I am up in Fairfield, Connecticut. I practice in this area. Actually, I practice all over. I even work with global clients. I'm Swedish by origin, so I have a network across the pond as well. And I've been here for 30 years, so I'm more American at this point, I guess. And I've been doing collaborative for about 10 years. And I've always, prior to that, I was in the executive coaching space, and I'm still keeping a toe in that arena, mediating high conflict in between
Wow.
executives, in teams, but also training teams and working on communication and development. But co-parenting is really my passion project. It's where my heart is.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Would anyone else like to introduce themselves?
I guess we're all old timers.
Okay, all right.
Tracy, you're not so old.
What you know what? Why not for your benefit, Charlotte? Why don't we just each say, you can already see our name, what our discipline is.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Hi,
So I'll start
everybody.
off. I'm Nancy Kay. I'm a financial
Not my
person.
normal voice. Ellen will attest to that. I'm Shari Gordon Cash, and I'm a divorce attorney, collaborative mediator,
Where do you
divorce
practice?
and trial attorney.
Where do you practice, Shari?
Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, wherever people have money.
And problems.
Plenty of problems.
Everywhere. Going to the city here in Long Island, but yeah. And I'm president-elect of the Women's Bar.
All right.
Very nice. Anyone else?
Nancy, why don't you call us out?
There you go.
Okay, so how about you, Bob? And I want to shout out to Bob for recommending Judy to do this presentation on the neuroscience of divorce. So that's the shout out to you. And Bob, why don't you say who you are, and then I'll go around.
Sure. Always happy to promote Judy, who I learn so much from all the time. So I'm Bob Raymond. I'm a psychologist. I do family specialist work in collaborative divorce. I do parent coordination, and I do a lot of individual therapy and couples therapy.
Okay. How
And
about
I'm
you,
located
Tracy?
in the city and on Long Island.
Okay.
Great.
Tracy? I'm going to get you last.
Hi, I'm Tracy Hawks. I am a matrimonial attorney. I practice on Long Island and I do mediation. I'm trying to get more into collaborative because that's really more of my spirit and, where I think I can best serve my clients. So that's me.
Okay. And Barbara?
Hi, everybody. I'm Barbara Rothberg. I'm a mental health specialist. I am a couples therapist, a mediator. I do parent coordination, and I also do family specialist work with collaborative. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you.
Alana?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Now we know it's an official Zoom meeting because somebody had. So I am in Manhattan. I'm a family specialist and also a therapist. I specialize in something called emotionally focused therapy, where I both practice that and teach that and train other therapists in that work, which is all based on attachment and the problems that come with disrupted attachment, which is something we see a lot of in our divorce work. So nice to be here, and I'm happy for this Act 2 because I couldn't attend when this was offered to our Manhattan pod. So I was really glad to see this on the calendar.
Good. How about Andrea? Okay, she can't talk.
She's great.
She's in a.
You're
It looks like she's
muted.
in a car or something like that. Okay. How about
driving.
Nora?
Oh God, it terrifies me.
Hi.
She's
Good
watching
morning,
us, but
everybody.
she's muted.
Yeah, I'm in the car also,
Sure.
but I'm off camera because
Yes.
my brain can't handle the stimulation. And so, good morning, everybody. Charlotte,
Yes.
Charlotte, I'm off camera, but I believe we trained together with Christina McGee.
We
Uh,
did. I
we
recognized your name. I was so happy
Yeah,
to
I
see you.
have to connect you. I'm so happy to see you. I'm a therapist and I do co-mediation, and of course co-parenting is also my passion project. It's the work I care most about, and every day when I face my children who are going between two homes and navigating their own journey, I am recommitted quite literally every single morning to doing this work. And I always feel lucky to be here amongst colleagues who feel the exact same way.
Okay, I'm going to introduce Ellen, and then I have a special shout out to you, Teresa, which is why you're last. And we're going to end up having to stop this because we're going to, all these people keep popping up. So, okay.
Want me to
Ellen?
go?
Yep.
Yeah. Ellen Janko Bacon. I'm a divorce attorney. I do unfortunately continue to litigate, and I collaborate and I mediate, and I prefer the latter too, for sure. Happy to be here. Happy to meet you all. And I'm excited to participate in this presentation. Thank you, Judy.
Okay.
And Bob, it's
Larry
good to
and-
see you. I miss you. It's good
Okay,
to
this
see
is
you.
the last two. Larry and then Teresa.
Where'd Larry
Okay,
go?
Okay, is he muted?
Yeah.
Hi, we introduced Larry Rothbard. I only do collaborative mediation and non-adversarial work now. I'm a lawyer.
Okay, and I'm going to introduce Teresa because Teresa with Adam Halpern is going to be discussing the next pod meeting, which is going to be, take it away, Teresa.
So I know there was recently one of these meetings, and that I couldn't attend, talking about how as collaborative attorneys we are influenced by the law. How important is the law in the work that we do collaboratively? And I want to talk a little bit more about how comfortable are we in collaborative, letting our clients do what's not, what we think wouldn't happen in court. So it's sort of like taking the other side, you know, and adding a little more emphasis on that and talking a little bit more about those. So I am a lawyer. I am trying not to litigate anymore. I don't think I have one active litigation or two right now, hoping they will end. I have one that's never going to end, which made me even more committed to not doing it anymore. But I love the mediation. I love the collaborative work. It's so, every day I am recommitted to how monumentally healthier it is for clients. And I really like it. I really like doing it.
Okay, so I know, thank you, Teresa. So I know Judy has a lot to say. I will say that I've been in her New York pods and she runs an excellent pod meeting. So I think we're all excited to hear what she has to say versus me. So let's take it away, Judy.
Okay, thank you. And I think most of you know I'm mental health. I'm a mediator and a family specialist and also a family therapist. I kind of do all of that. And of course, in collaborative. So nice to be here and thank you for inviting me, Nancy and Bob. Okay, so I'm going to present an approach that comes from a book called Hardwiring Happiness by Rick Hanson. It's just a fantastic book. When I was doing training at the Nalanda Institute, which is for contemplative psychotherapy, we had him as a guest speaker, and he was riveting, and the approach made so much sense. So Rick Hanson is a meditator and a therapist and a neuroscientist. So he has this unique combination of skills and background. And his book is really all kind of, there's a lot of Buddhism in there without calling it Buddhism, but it's all in there. And he talks about the neuroscience as well. So I'm going to start my, can you give me control of the screen, Nancy?
Oh, sure, sure. Oh, wait. 1 second. Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, you know what? I'm wondering, it looks like I can't.
If you go into participants, you can't find her and then make her co-presenter.
Okay, because I was just wondering because of all the Judy.
Nancy, if you go to share and then to the right
did,
of it.
but you know what? I'm not the
You're not the host.
Who's the
Who
host?
Sarah is.
And she's not here?
Can you hit share if you go onto yours? Because I'm going on mine, it says share, but it doesn't let anyone else share.
But,
there you
Oh, you
go.
got
Only
it.
the,
You got
can you
it.
see my screen? Okay,
Not
well,
yet,
that's
just
not
hit
what,
share again.
okay, that's not, okay, let me pull up what I want to share. It's a good thing I didn't have anything embarrassing there. Okay, let's,
That's why you're supposed to close everything down except what you're going to share.
can you see, can
Yes.
you
Yes.
see now?
Yes. Neuroscience of divorce and life.
Right, but now I need to be able to see where it says play, sorry. Oh, okay. I see it, 1 second.
You just
This
had it.
thing. I know, all these little things keep popping up and covering what I need to push, 1 second.
How about we tell you when to push?
This is sounds like it's getting interesting.
I know it is. It'll go away, 1 second. You're
Okay,
gonna cut,
Up
you're
a
gonna
little,
cut
up a
all
little,
this
and then
out.
hit play. Up a little. A little to the left. A little to the right. Ay. I
It's
feel
in,
like
it's under,
yeah, and up. Just keep clicking as you're going up.
okay. It's not giving me, oh, here. Maybe this will do it. Okay. Great. Okay, you can all see it now and see me?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So this is, as I said, from the book Hardwiring Happiness by Rick Hanson. So according to Hanson, we're born with inner strengths and challenges, and these impact our well-being and our behavioral choices and our interactions. These include a sense of integrity, emotional intelligence, and learned optimism, attachment capacity, distress tolerance, many, many things. How we feel, act, and interact with others depend on our unique challenges and our strengths, and on the contributions of the negative and positive experiences that we have in life. Hanson would argue that a third of our strengths are genetic, inborn, and the rest are learned or growth-oriented. As Hanson would say. He would say the mind is a garden. We could either let it be, meaning be with the weeds and the flowers without judgment or trying to change anything and just live with it, observe it, accept it. We can let it go, pull the weeds by decreasing what's negative and in our minds and just letting go of what's been harming us in our hearts, let's say, or let in. And let in is where we grow flowers by increasing the positive experiences in our minds. We replace negative ones with positive ones. We remember positive experiences in the past. We connect with something that made us happy in the past. He would say that positive is whatever leads to happiness or benefit for oneself or others. It usually feels good, but not always. For example, when you have pain from putting your hand on the stove, that doesn't feel good, but it's actually for your benefit. Negative refers to anything that leads to suffering and harm. And again, it usually feels bad, but not always. For example, you get a buzz from heavy drinking, but that's not good. Simply being with our mind by observing our mind without judgment is helpful. It gives us awareness and it gives us perspective, but it's not sufficient. We really need to work with our minds, making wise efforts, pulling weeds, growing flowers to grow inner strengths such as calm and insight, which will allow us to feel all of our feelings and face difficult emotions and realities within ourselves. We need to stay mindful about both the outer world and our inner world. And hardwiring happiness refers to a process of letting in and cultivating positive experiences, which together will allow us to grow new neural circuitry in our brains. Whatever we repeatedly sense and feel and want and think is slowly but surely sculpting our brain. Active synapses become more sensitive. New synapses start to grow within minutes, and busy regions get more blood since they need more oxygen and glucose to do their work. And the genes inside the neurons turn on or off. Less active connections just wither away, kind of like neurodarwinism, survival of the busiest. Intense, prolonged, or repeated mental neural activity, especially if we're conscious, will leave an enduring imprint on our neural structure. Neurons that fire together wire together. And therefore, mental states become neural traits. An example of this is New York taxi drivers memorizing our streets have thickened neural layers in that part of the brain, the hippocampus, that has to do with visual spatial memories. It changes their brain. Meditators have an increased gray matter in the prefrontal area behind the forehead and in other areas having to do with attention and tuning into ourselves. In the words of Hansen, our experiences don't just grow new synapses, but somehow reach down into our genes, into little stirs of atoms in the twisted molecules of DNA inside the nuclei of neurons and change how they operate. This is called epigenetics, the process of how behaviors and the environment can cause changes in gene expressions without altering the underlying DNA sequence. A good example is, for example, a librarian would take a book that might have been in the archives or way in the back and put it on the top shelf. That's epigenetics. Our experiences leave a lasting impact on our brain. According to Hansen, our attention is like a spotlight and a vacuum cleaner combined. There's an old saying, which is, the mind takes its shape from what it rests upon. Hansen would say that really, the brain takes its shape from what the mind rests upon. For example, if we keep resting our minds on self-criticism and negativity, worries, hurts, stress, then our brain will be shaped into greater reactivity, vulnerability to anxiety and depressed mood, etc. On the other hand, if we keep resting our minds on good events and positive memories, remembering we have a roof over our heads and somebody who was especially kind to us, pleasant experiences, over time, our brain will take on a different shape with strength and resilience hardwired into it, as well as a more optimistic outlook and a positive mood. I would ask all of us over the past week, where have our minds been resting primarily? Through self-directed plasticity, we can each have the power to change our brains for the better. The most direct way to grow inner strength is to have positive experiences in the first place. To develop more gratitude, for example, rest your mind on feeling thankful. To feel more loved, look for and stay with experiences in which you felt included, appreciated, and liked. We can activate these mental states on our own and then install them as neural traits. In this way, we're using our minds to change our brains to change our minds for the better. We have, as a survival mechanism, our minds have evolved to be hypervigilant to threats of danger, even if it meant missing opportunities. In other words, it's better to miss lunch than to be lunch. We tend to overestimate threats, losses, and interpersonal challenges, but we tend to underestimate opportunities and resources. Our brains are primed to look for and find negative experiences, even if they aren't there. And emotional aspects of our memories are negatively biased on top of that, and powerful. Therefore, leading negative emotions such as disappointment, negative self-judgment, and deep pain to dominate over positive. And of course, many positive experiences might as well not have even happened because the mind didn't even notice. Negativity is privileged in our brains. So taking in the good corrects for the negativity bias by decreasing negative feelings, thoughts, and actions while increasing positive ones. The brain has three operating systems that address three essential human needs. The first is the avoiding harm system for a sense of safety. The second is the approaching reward system for a sense of satisfaction. And the third, the attaching to other system for a sense of connection. Each system has two settings, responsive and reactive. When an operating system's core need is met, the system defaults to responsive, which is the green brain. For example, when we feel safe, the avoiding harm system leads us to feel relaxed, confident, and calm. Similarly, when we feel satisfied, the approaching reward system creates feelings of gratitude, generosity, accomplishment, and contentment. And when we feel connected, the attaching to other system brings feelings of belonging, self-worth, compassion, and love. When any of these three basic needs are not met, though, our red brain reacts, triggering opposite feelings such as anxiety, anger, scarcity, and heartbreak. And of course, during divorce, all three fundamental needs may be thwarted. Add to this our omnipresent negativity bias, and there's a good chance that many of our clients are stuck on red brain regularly. Here are some of the features of the different systems. So you can see the avoiding system, approaching system, and attaching system. And you can see the need for the avoiding system is a need for safety, approaching a need for satisfaction, attaching a need for connection. You can go all the way down and look at all the characteristics of each one of the various systems. And for example, capabilities, freeze, flight, and fight for the avoiding system. Approaching, forage, sustain, chase. Attaching, sense of empathy, bonding, language. These are the qualities of these systems. Key areas of the brain. You can see the neurotransmitter that is released with each one. Acetylcholine for avoiding, dopamine, opioids for the approaching, oxytocin, the cuddle hormone, and vasopressin. Now, these are the characteristics of the responsive mode of the avoiding, approaching, and attachment system. So you can see when you are in the responsive mode, you feel safe, you feel satisfied and connected. World feels protective, you feel there's enough in the world, and you feel a part of the world. You can go all the way through this. Central experience, feel a sense of peace, contentment, and love. Related feelings, strong, calm, relaxed, tranquil, agency, efficacy, grateful, glad, enthusiastic, successful. You feel seen, liked, appreciated, worthy, cherished, special. And here's the reactive mode of the avoiding, approaching, and attaching systems. Feel unsafe, dissatisfied, disconnected, sense of danger in the world, scarcity, exclusion. What is your stance? Aversive, coveting, you feel separated. What are you going to do? Appease, freeze, flee, fight, drivenness, addiction, reproach, quarreling, prejudices. And related feelings, angry, immobilized, defeated, weak, overwhelmed, helpless, disappointed, failed, sad, grieving, hurt, dismissed, abandoned, etc. So what about the connection to divorce? Thinking about these three systems. So here is a summary of the responsive and reactive modes. So I'm going to turn to everyone here and just throw out your thoughts about this. What do you tend to see with your clients, and how do you see this notion of responses versus reactive relating to the work that we do? Comments?
I think we're trying to move them from reactive to responsive as much as we can to try to be that walk that place, which isn't being Pollyanna-ish, right? Acknowledging the severity and the fears and the threats, and also providing a space where people feel safe enough, held enough to start to grow some of these other responses.
Mm-hmm. That's a lovely way to think of our work, isn't it? Other comments?
I think
Yeah.
some of it really has to do with where people are at to begin with and how positive or negative, how secure people feel. So we're looking at basic characteristics. You go into a divorce with who you are. And I think it also matters if one person really wants a divorce and the other doesn't. And that really plays out a lot in our work.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah. They come in with their own characteristics and their own experiences and their own lifetime, right, of positive and negative experiences that have shaped their brain. So they come in because of that. Mm-hmm. Other comments?
So I would say, as a trained attorney and mediator and collaborator, I don't know that I feel confident. I mean, I can notice what's going on for clients, but I don't know that I feel that I have a confident roadmap about how to help them, which of course makes it so important to have a family specialist or mental health person involved. But we don't always have that.
So when you say you don't feel confident and you have a roadmap, meaning even if you know this, you don't know kind of how to apply this?
Correct. Correct.
Uh-huh.
Not, or how do I feel like I know that the clients need help. And I don't really know how to tell them this.
Uh-huh. I have some thoughts. I'd like to hear what other people think too. What do you think? How could somebody who's not trained in mental health use this to in their work with clients to be helpful?
Well, one of the things that I do as a financial professional is a lot of it is education. So like I'm looking at the wearing down, maybe they didn't have control of the finances or know anything and they're scared, and to give them the confidence that they can enter that next phase with stability and knowing what's going on and how to handle it.
Right. So, and basically, you're giving information and also psychoeducation, right? Just even explaining the three systems of the brain and how all three of them are kind of all up in the air right now, those three areas. So it's understandable. And just maybe just having compassion and helping them have compassion toward themselves might be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Other comments?
I think coming from a positive perspective, you talk a lot, Judy, about, being positive and positive energy, changing the brain and coming from a place of gratitude and all. I think that any professional working with people of divorce, attitude is very important and approach is very important, and coming from a positive versus a negative place that you can get through this and you will be okay, and putting that forth is helpful and helps people be more secure that they can get through this. Their kids will be okay. And that attitude will make a difference.
And I think what you just said, Barbara, is really important, which is to help them be able to visualize a different life ahead, because right now they're stuck, they can't see, but help them see the vision of what their life is likely to be in the future and the positive elements of it. I think that's helpful. Other comments, other thoughts? Does this bring up any clients that you're working with right now and help to maybe explain a little bit of what's going on, or something just seem to connect here for you?
So I'm actually working with a client, and she actually ended up reading something to the group, which was amazing. I should see about circulating it. But, she was what would I say, entitled. You know, she had a very grand lifestyle, and of course, she's not going to be able to have that same lifestyle going forward. And after explaining things about, you know, finances and, you know, not spending as much now so you have money later and that kind of thing, the next day she wrote about all these different ideas that she could do to create extra income for herself and different paths. And it was just so fulfilling for the, it was in mediation for the attorney and myself to get that kind of feedback so fast after we were kind of like, you know, explaining to her over and over again what steps she needed to take in order to have a fulfilled life and a financially stable life. And it resonated.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I think what I'm thinking more about, and Barbara, I do that, I do what you said, but somebody who's really depressed, it may feel so hollow, and I'm not sure, you know, how we move those people along without, of course, saying that they should be in therapy, which we say to all our clients, I think.
But I think that's what you need to say. That
Yeah, well, yeah.
have you thought about seeing a therapist that might be helpful?
Right.
I say that I'm a therapist, but that's not my function when I'm doing this work.
Right.
And I
right,
will
right.
often suggest that therapy could be helpful at this time. Have you thought about that?
Right.
Right. I do that too.
Yeah. And I have a case right now where the wife has been in and out of rehab for several years,
Mhm.
and was not properly treated for what was clearly bipolar, but was treated as if she had depression, which only made it worse. And basically, I was the neutral mental health, and we could not move forward in the parenting plan, right? Because
Right,
how can you
right.
do a parenting plan when she can't even be trusted to be alone with the kids? So that became the front and center issue. And yeah, and she's seeing a psychiatrist, she's on medication, she is now not drinking, and she's taking, naltrexone, and her life is coming back. And
Wow.
yeah. So
That's
I wouldn't
fantastic.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually stay together now, because, but yeah, I know it's true. Sometimes that has to be the most important thing that they have to focus on, because you can't move forward. Yeah.
That's a great story.
It's a great story, and
Yeah.
also, I would imagine there will, at some point, will come some grieving for the lost years.
Oh,
when
yeah.
it wasn't correctly understood. It's even painful just to hear how somebody could have swum around with different, providers and not get correctly diagnosed,
Yeah, 100%, Alana. She's just starting to get there now.
Yeah.
And she also turned to her husband and she said, and she just became well enough to say this. She said, we got married in sickness and in health, and I was sick, and I went to get help, and I spent years and years trying to get better. And then I come back and you want a divorce, So it was quite poignant when she said that. And I don't know how he took that in or what. We haven't had a next session since then, but yeah, there's a lot of feelings there.
Yeah. Wow.
Judy, is this mediation or couples therapy?
This is collaborative. Well, it's collaborative, but it's, they did need to process a lot of their feelings and thoughts. And I would say to them, well, I can do it if you both agree. Do you want to talk this through? And they both agree. So we spent a number of sessions, especially at the beginning. And then throughout, as we're still we haven't finished the parenting plan. The one part we haven't gotten to is introducing new romantic partners. I'm afraid to get to that one, but but what would happen is we would make progress, and then there would be some new episode that happened at home. Either she was highly destabilized emotionally, or she was drinking, and so we need to talk about that and the fallout from that, and then help them get back on track. And so it's been a very slow process, but yeah, there's a little bit of everything in this.
And would he even be comfortable with her being alone with the kids if, you know, given how uneven things have been for so many years? It's
Right.
wow,
Hard
so
one.
hard.
And well, she is alone with the kids now a lot of the time
Yes.
as well. Yeah,
Okay.
except there's kind of a backup. His mom lives nearby, and if he calls the home and she doesn't answer right away, then he's going to call the mom to come and make sure it's okay. But the thing is, she now has agreed to every safeguard. She's agreeing to you
Test.
know, testing periodically. She's going to start taking Vivitrol shots, injections that stop the craving, you know, so she's going to be doing a lot of things to, you know, to keep herself on course.
Wow. Great
Yeah.
work, Judy.
Thank you. These kinds of things are really satisfying because, you know,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to help them through a divorce if they get divorced, but she's going to have her life back, you know, and that's just so rewarding. So,
And sometimes, no matter how, you know, understandably mad, frustrated, disappointed the partner is, I sometimes say to people at a time like this, you have to take some care with what you're saying because you don't know what biological vulnerabilities your kids have. And you want them to be able to turn to you if they start having any kind of uneven moods or cravings, right? So, you know, sometimes a comment like that has helped calm you know, the airways a bit between people. It is very upsetting. It's upsetting to everybody these lost years, you know. I'm upset and I don't even know these people, you know.
yeah,
Right.
I know.
But
know.
you have to take some care that, you know, if he goes on and on and on about that drinking or that, you know, you're just a drunk. Well, what if one of the kids has some of that wiring, right?
That's
Will
right.
they be afraid to turn to their dad and say, I'm struggling, you know?
Right. That's right. And there's a long
So
history.
important.
There's a long family history of alcohol use, substance use, and also mental health. And the son is already showing some signs of a lot of anger and other issues. So yeah, there's a family history there. Okay, so why don't we continue on? So the good news about these systems is that our brains are highly plastic. And as we talked about, positive experiences can build and strengthen our neural circuitry, protectively altering the nature of thoughts and experiences that are to come. So it all kind of becomes a cycle. But the reverse is often true as well. Left to its own devices, our brain can get stuck on red and unwittingly fuel a downward spiral of negativity. With effort and skill, we can self-direct our own neuroplasticity to develop a responsivity bias instead of the more insidious reactivity bias, fostering a sense of ease and self-compassion with less internal suffering. So, to paraphrase Hansen, we can use our minds to change our brains to change our minds. But how do we do that? We do that by taking in the good. And he would use the term heal, which stands for have a positive experience, such as notice something positive that's happening all around you. Maybe have a good memory, remember something really pleasant, find it in something that you're doing or your spirituality or your thought process, but notice something or create something. The E stands for enrich it. Stay with the feeling or experience. Explore the qualities in your mind. Take it in deeply. Give it a good duration. Feel it intensely. Feel it with all the different senses, novelty, personal relevance. The A is absorb it. Visualize it, sense it, feel it physically in your body. Feel it sinking into you. And the L would be optional because it can be a little risky if you're not ready. It's where you link a negative experience with a positive. And then you let the positive kind of dilute the impact of the negative. So he identified top strengths for a sense of safety, satisfaction, and connection. For safety, a sense of refuge, feeling all right right now, which I find very helpful. When I'm going through a difficult time, I'll say, I am all right right now. No matter what my body may feel, I'm all right right now. A sense of peace, satisfaction, enthusiasm, feeling the fullness of the moment, contentment. For connection, feeling cared about, feeling like you're a good person. And then to get a sense of all three, integrated sense of peace, contentment, and love. Breaking them down by the different systems, the strengths for a sense of safety are sense of protection, strength, relaxation, refuge, seeing threats and resources clearly, feeling you're all right right now, and peace. Strengths for satisfaction, pleasure, gratitude and gladness, positive emotion, accomplishment and agency, enthusiasm, feeling the fullness of the moment, contentment. Strengths for connection, feeling cared about, feeling valued, compassion and kindness, self-compassion, feeling like a good person, compassionate assertiveness, and love. And he would say that, you know, even if you're missing a feeling of connection, let's say to a romantic partner, for example, and you're missing that, you can still have a sense of connection by connecting to your other sources, the other attachments, and feeling these feelings there. So just to summarize, we have genetic versus learned strengths. The estimate is that a third of our strengths are genetic and 3/4 are learned. Our mind is a garden. Let be, let in, let go. Experience-dependent neuroplasticity, we can change our brains based on our experiences. Neurons set fire together, wired together. The Velcro for the bad, there's a privilege for the bad. There's Teflon for the good, it doesn't stick. So we have to make special efforts to hold on to the good. We have 3 systems of the brain: avoiding harm for safety, approaching rewards for satisfaction, attaching to others for connection. And we have a responsive versus a reactive style with all systems of the brain, and responsive is going to be more positive. That's the green brain. Reactive is going to be more negative, and that's the red brain. And the red brain is going to bring all of the negative responses, where the responsive brain are going to be more of the positive experiences. And he said, he would say that we can use the concept of heal to have a positive experience, enrich it, absorb it, and link it. And therefore, we can use our minds to change our brains to change our minds. So, and there is the book, Hardwiring Happiness, The New Brain Science of Contentment, Calm, and Confidence by Rick Hanson. This book is, I don't know, this must be probably from 2018 or 17. It's pretty old, but it's still fantastic in my mind. So.
That was great, Judy.
Wow.
I have a question. How do you move in the collaborative process from someone being reactive to responsive?
Well, what I try to do is first of all, I start out, everybody knows this. I think I can stop share. Let's see if I can stop the share and make everybody bigger. I'm not going to try to do that since I can't see. My cursor is very, see. What I try to do, first of all, I start out with process goals. So, and those are agreements about how we're going to communicate it at the beginning of the session. And I invite them to add to it as well, but usually I do most of it. And some of you know about those things like proceed by agreement, share the floor, don't interrupt, use I statements. So I already set the tone at the beginning, and there's like 14 of them or so, 15. So that helps. And then when people start to become reactive, right, then I'll say, oh, let's take a minute. Let's come back to the process goals. Let's take a moment. Do you need some time? And I tell them also, as one of the process goals, take care of yourself. So people know that if they start to have a difficult time, they can call for a break, or whatever it is that they need. And I'll even tell people sometimes when somebody will like charge out, and I'm only working via Zoom, right? So they'll charge out of the screen and leave the room, and I'll say, you know what? They need that time right now to come back to baseline. We'll wait. We'll give them a minute, and then usually they come back. Sometimes I'll send a text, would you like to come back? And they'll come back.
Can I ask you something also, Judy? I appreciate, first of all, this was really beautifully laid out, and I've known Rick Hansen's name for a while. I also love him because he talks about the installation phase of the brain. I don't know if that phrase is in this book as well, but that when people just hear an idea once, sometimes it just doesn't land. You have to like really give it some space to get some traction. Talked about, and everybody talks about these red brains and green brains, and my brain has had trouble landing on those. But I also wonder, do you talk about the yellow brain at all? Or is that not part of this?
No, why don't you talk about it a little bit?
No, I don't feel capable. I was hoping you were gonna.
No. I
But
don't, but I'm curious about it, so I will read up on it.
maybe we can find each other off screen sometime, see what we can find out, because I want to understand that better. I imagine it's somewhere in between. But I think this is really, it puts such a human frame. I mean, the piece that I've always understood is that we are wired for survival as a species. And so there was something good about that bias towards the red brain. Sue Johnson used to say that those ancestors we have that saw the shadow and thought, oh, maybe that's a beautiful cloud, got eaten by the saber-toothed tigers, which were the ones casting the shadow. So all the genes that got passed down were the ones where people saw the shadow and said, yikes, this could be dangerous, and ran, so right. But it's overdone its usefulness, is what I think you're telling us. In this day and age, we can do so much more. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Yeah, no, that's right. So we have evolved in so many ways to be, anxious and to be on hypervigilant. And that's what's allowed us to pass on our genes, right? And so we have to work especially hard. And actually the installation you're talking about is the essence of HEAL, because he would say, we all talk about mindfulness. Oh, what a beautiful sunset. Oh, isn't that nice? He would say, that's not enough. That's fine. You can be present in the moment and have awareness, but that's not going to change your brain. You have to not only notice it, but you have to take it in. And that's what the E is: enrich it, like connect it, make it deeper, and then absorb. I often think in Buddhism, there's this visualization called, it's the mentor, I forget the exact name, but it's a mentor bonding experience. And in this whole process, you basically take your mentor that you admire, and you see all of their qualities, and you then visualize them basically coming in and absorbing them through your body, through your crown. And I really think of it, when I think of the A in absorb, like just take it into your entire body and feel it and let it reside there, which is totally different than what we think of with mindfulness.
Neat.
Other comments? Any other any other ways you think this could be helpful even outside of our practice? I mean, we are walking around with brains in this world today, right? Not to get too political, but it is a hard time right now.
You mean in our own lives?
In our own lives and in this world.
Yeah, right. Of course, I'm thinking of that.
It is a terrifying time. I mean, it is a terrifying time. People who are normally calm and centered, you know, I had a visit with one of my doctors yesterday, and I have never seen her not calm. You know, and again, I see her once a year or twice a year, but she said, who even knows if we're going to have health insurance? I mean, it's like,
Right.
it's,
Right.
I've never experienced her in this way. And the idea that I really feel like it's something out of the, you know, the period that caused the French Revolution. Like, I keep thinking about that. Let them eat cake, because he's building this incredible ballroom while people literally won't be able to feed their children, you know?
Right. Right.
Sickening.
So we'll storm the Capitol.
If we storm the Capitol,
Bastille.
if we storm the Capitol, it'll be very different than the other people who were touring the Capitol.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh,
One thing I notice with this, you know, the line that's the most helpful to me is, right now I am okay. But right now for me, that phrase doesn't work, because it's like, right now I am okay, but there are so many people out there who are not okay. And that's what then makes me not okay. So, and it also just makes it so clear how privileged and lucky so many of us are, that, you know, okay, we may not be touched by the SNAP benefits going away. We may not be touched directly, personally, by what's happening with ICE, but so many people are. And how do you manage that? That's really tough, but it does take work to still be able to keep ourselves calm and then do what we can do.
I think that's absolutely right, Judy. And I think that I was talking with someone recently who was a spiritual leader, and what she was talking about is the difference between those who have hope and those who don't. And she was talking about how important hope is. And that concept goes so much with what you're talking about today in positivity, to have hope that things will be different, and to be able to do whatever little pieces we can do to have hope and feel like we can make a difference, even though, yes, most of us are not on SNAP benefits, but millions of people are going to be starving.
Right. Any other comments? Any other thoughts about?
I'm curious how long a book this is. I don't mean to get overly granular at this very beautiful morning that we're having, like immersing ourselves in this way of thinking, but
it's not very long, and it's a very easy read because he's such a good writer. Also, there's an audio version of it if you want.
Oh, good. I'm gonna get that today.
I'm pretty sure there's an audio version. Yeah. No, but it goes quickly. I could text you afterwards. I read it on Kindle, so.
We'll put it on the list.
Yep, doing it right now.
I recommend this to some of my clients and some of my patients too, to help them understand what might be going on for them and the things that they can do. And what's lovely about this book, I think maybe the last, I don't know, half, or for sure the last third of the book, is all these examples of how to create positive experiences. You know, examples like, you know, think about your last vacation. Think about your best friend who's on a vacation now and what she might be experiencing, right? Think about the people who live here all the time of the year and the people who like to go surf and what that's like. You know, it's like really finding ways to create these positive images and thoughts and experiences in your own brain, even though you're not having them in the moment.
So maybe you can leave us with something uplifting and spiritual for the rest of our day.
Vote.
Yeah, that's true. Vote.
Maybe I obviously vote, but maybe find something positive in your own life that you can hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
And we all, most of us are very privileged and can find something positive, and we have choices. And our minds really are up to, we can control our minds and we can make choices of what we think about.
Mm-hmm.
And if we concentrate on the positives or concentrate on the negatives, it will impact our brains. So if we think about something positive in our minds, something positive in our lives, and have gratitude for that, that will make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. Well said, Barbara.
Thanks.
And also, you know, noticing when you notice the positive, say it out loud, you know, and when you have a positive experience, like sometimes I will do this. I will just say, I was with my daughter, for example, we went to Aruba recently, and I said to her, this is such a beautiful moment. I'm going to remember this moment right now. When you say it aloud and you say it to somebody else, it just makes it more vivid so that you can really take it in and remember it. And now I can pull it up again and again, right?
Nice. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Just
And the
say,
thing about that is you can't be expecting a response. You just like
Yeah.
let it, yeah.
Yeah. You just put it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so can I just say this out loud? I think
Yes.
we feel some gratitude for this incredible community that is
Yes.
here to support one another, educate one another, learn from one another. Let's not take that for granted. It's really
Yeah.
an incredible community. So
Yes.
thank
That's
you.
beautiful.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And I want to thank Judy so much for the presentation and Bob for bringing Judy to this presentation for us.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
and also thank you to Ellen, right? I mean, you're at the head of our organization right now, right?
Thank
And
you to everybody, because it's not a one-man show by any stretch. So thank you. Thank you all.
and Sherry, you wanted to say something?
It's just incredible the difference between a woman's bar book club and this organization, because we just finished the book Outlive by Dr. Adia. And I don't know if any of you have heard about it. It's on 60 Minutes, 2020, and it's about lifespan versus health span and how we can extend our health span by various activities. And I don't know how that, or maybe how that interacts or connects with this hardwiring of happiness. But it's just a different perspective as to how we think as lawyers in this whole collaborative process. And so maybe I can say to my colleagues tomorrow at the board meeting, maybe we should be looking and reading different books that make us feel a little bit better, instead of like, oh, we should start lifting weights and live longer but healthier.
Right.
Because there's definitely a connection between your health and your mental health, your physical and your mental. And and that's why a lot of us lawyers, I see a lot, mostly mental health professionals here, but a lot of us lawyers are hopefully moving towards the collaborative process, because it, just as a professional, we are definitely affected by our clients and their grief and their stress and their unhappiness during the process. And when you're in the collaborative process, it just calms the whole situation down. And so I just think that we can all learn from this in a more positive way. And I want to thank all the mental health professionals here. There's not that many lawyers here, but I definitely like everything that Tracy said earlier about why, and I'm looking at you, Tracy, you're definitely much younger than I am and just starting out. So compared to many of us here, and if you can move your practice towards a more collaborative modality, I think you'll get a lot more out of being a professional in this law field in divorce. I started out with Timothy Tippins, who the lawyers here know as the guru of matrimonial law, and I helped write his treatise, and it's definitely a different perspective. I don't even think he believes in the collaborative process.
It's a
I
different
don't think
language.
it. I know it. I know it. I speak
Yeah,
it
thank
daily.
you.
It's a
But
different language.
it's a
different
totally
language.
different language.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
I
think
know-
that, I think our clients could benefit from hearing more from us that there's really very little alternative, because the litigation alternative is it's just
Right.
horrible for your mental
Right.
health.
Yeah, that's right, Sherry. For everyone's mental health.
For
Well,
the
I know
lawyer
we're-
also, for the mostly probably.
Yeah. So I think we're
Yeah.
probably out of time. Is that right?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Judy.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you,
thank
Thank
you.
you. And thank you all for
Judy.
participating. Really, it was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
thank
And
you,
it was
Ellen,
great.
for presenting this for us today.
You're
And
so
don't forget
welcome.
about next month
Don't forget about the gala.
and the gala.
Fun.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
again for inviting me. Have a great day and try to start applying this today. That's the way to take away.
All right, be
Mhm.
well, be safe.
Nice meeting everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Nice to see you, Alana.